Welcome to Next Level You, where every book we explore takes you one step closer to the best version of yourself. Today's question is simple but profound. Where does real motivation come from? Inspired by the classic book The Alchemist, we'll explore the answer. That quiet restlessness you sometimes feel, that lingering sense that life could mean more, often starts early. At 18, many of us wonder, what is my dream? What do I truly want to do with my life? At 25, the question changes. Have I really tried to pursue it? Am I walking the path my heart truly desires? Or am I just drifting? By 30, the question becomes heavier. If I haven't done it yet, is it too late to begin now? If you're still wandering, uncertain, or stuck between reality and a restless heart, then maybe, just maybe, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist can offer some answers. This short novel, only about 200 pages, can be read in just a few hours, but its message has echoed across the globe for over 3 decades. The Alchemist has been translated into 81 languages and sold over 150 million copies in more than 170 countries. In Coelho's home country, Brazil, its fame stands alongside only 2 other giants, God and football. Why does this story resonate with so many? Because when you read it, you see yourself in the main character, in the struggles, in the doubts, in the quiet yearning for something more. It's the story of a shepherd boy named Santiago, a boy who gives up everything, including his entire flock of sheep, to chase a dream. He crosses deserts, faces betrayal, falls in love, and gets lost more than once, all in pursuit of a treasure he saw in a dream. But more than a treasure hunt, this is a parable, a spiritual journey, and perhaps a reflection of the author's own life. Paulo Coelho, like Santiago, had his own battles. At 17, he was rebellious, too rebellious for his parents, who committed him to a mental institution, not once, but 3 times. Later, he was jailed for opposing Brazil's military dictatorship, and even at 38, he felt like a failure, lost, directionless. So he walked, alone, nearly 600 kilometers on foot through northern Spain along the Camino de Santiago, a pilgrimage that took over 3 months. During that journey, his inner fire, buried under disappointment and confusion, began to stir again. And with that, he wrote The Alchemist, a novel born not from fantasy, but from experience, from wandering, from suffering, from learning to listen to the voice within. Since its publication, The Alchemist has lit a spark in millions, especially in those at crossroads, lost, hesitant, or afraid to dream again. Coelho became the first Latin American author to achieve such worldwide influence since Gabriel Garcia Marquez, author of 100 Years of Solitude. And perhaps what makes The Alchemist so powerful is this. It reminds us that a life without purpose is a labyrinth, a maze of distractions, fears, and temporary comforts. And most people, once they enter, spend their whole lives just looking for a way out. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. But here's the catch. If you're too obsessed with gain and loss, you'll miss your dream entirely. In the novel, Santiago is born into a simple farming family in Spain. His parents live a modest life, working the land, saving every coin. They send him to seminary, hoping he'll become a priest, a man of status, respect, and stability. A secure future, that's all they wanted for him. But Santiago, he wanted more. He wanted to travel, to explore, to discover the world. He dreamed not of robes and rituals, but of freedom. One day, he musters up the courage to tell his father the truth. He doesn't want to become a priest. He wants to be a shepherd to roam. At first, his father resists, but eventually he relents. He gives his son 3 gold coins, enough to buy a few sheep. Those coins weren't just money. They were a quiet blessing. Because the father, too, once dreamed of traveling the world. He just never had the courage to leave. People learn early in their lives what is their reason for being. Maybe that's why they give up on it so early, too. In The Alchemist, every character has a dream. The old popcorn vendor, he once dreamed of going to Africa. The crystal merchant, he longed to visit Mecca. Even the desert thieves had their own treasure fantasies. But dreams, for most people, are fragile. They bend, they fade, they drown under the weight of practicality, fear, or what others expect. And often the thing that kills the dream isn't failure, it's the overthinking, the endless weighing of risks, the obsession with what might go wrong. That's what Santiago had to overcome. He broke free from his safe life to become a shepherd. And after 2 years of wandering the countryside, learning, growing, and meeting people, he has a dream. A strange one. In it, a child tells him, "There's a treasure buried at the foot of the Egyptian pyramids. 2 nights in a row, the same dream." Coincidence? He doesn't think so. Then one day, Santiago meets a strange old man. He calls himself Melchizedek, the king of Salem. And the king tells him, "This is your personal legend. It's what you have always wanted to accomplish." Everyone, when they are young, knows what their personal legend is. This idea, your personal legend, is central to the book. It's your soul's calling, the thing you were born to do, your true north. But to chase it means sacrifice. Santiago has to give up his flock, leave behind comfort, and venture into the unknown, all for a dream he doesn't fully understand. At first, he hesitates, because, like all of us, he's afraid of making the wrong choice, afraid of losing what he already has, afraid that maybe the dream isn't real. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. Yet, deep down, he knows. If he doesn't go, he will regret it forever. And here's the truth, not just for Santiago, but for us all. We rarely regret what we've done. More often, we regret what we didn't do. One psychological study found that even when people fail over time, their regret fades. They rationalize, they forgive themselves, they move on. But the dreams left untouched, they haunt us. We replay them. We wonder, what if? So Santiago sets out, not knowing if he'll succeed, only knowing that he must try. And that very decision, is where real motivation begins. Not with a perfect plan, not with guarantees, but with the courage to begin. People are capable at any time in their lives of doing what they dream of. Santiago arrives in Tangier, North Africa, his first step beyond the familiar. But almost immediately, he's hit with 2 brutal blows. First, he faces a language barrier. No one speaks Spanish. He's disoriented, disconnected, unsure how to ask for help. Then comes betrayal. He meets someone who speaks his language, finally a flicker of hope. But that man robs him blind. Just like that, Santiago loses all the money from selling his sheep. Gone in a single afternoon. Yesterday, he was a boy with a dream. Today, he's broke, alone, and lost in a foreign land. And just for a moment, he breaks. He almost gives up. He remembers his sheep, his home, the safety of what he left behind, and wonders if the dream was foolish after all. But then, a memory. The old man's words return. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. It sounds naive now, almost childish, but still, something stirs. That night, Santiago doesn't give up. He gathers what little strength he has left and tells himself, if I have nothing else, I still have myself. I can start again. The next morning, he walks the streets of Tangier, looking for any opportunity, any place to offer his hands, his help. He stumbles upon a crystal shop, dusty and dim. The owner is weary. Business is bad. Santiago offers to clean the glass in exchange for food. At first, the old man refuses, but Santiago doesn't wait. He picks up a cloth and starts scrubbing anyway. And just like that, a customer walks in. The crystal merchant is shocked. Santiago earns a meal and a job. It's a small win, but it's everything. Because this is what true motivation looks like in the real world. Not constant fire, not endless confidence, but the choice to keep moving even when you've been knocked flat. Santiago stays. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. He works hard, he listens, he watches, and slowly the shop begins to thrive. But there's something else happening too. Santiago starts having ideas. He suggests they display crystal outside, attract more customers. Then he proposes selling tea in crystal glasses, something no one had done before. The merchant resists. He's afraid of change, but Santiago gently pushes, and eventually, the man agrees. Sales boom. The shop becomes popular. Santiago earns enough to go home or go forward. But this is a crucial moment, one we all face at some point. He now has two choices: stay in Tangier, open his own shop, live comfortably, or keep chasing the dream, the treasure, the unknown. And as tempting as safety is, Santiago remembers what the king of Salem once told him: you must always know what it is that you want. So he walks away. From success, from security, from what many would consider enough, because it wasn't his dream. And sometimes following your dream means walking away from a perfectly good life in pursuit of a great one. The next leg of the journey takes him across the desert, through scorching heat, sandstorms, and silence. Days feel endless. Nights are freezing. But then Santiago reaches an oasis, a small paradise amid the harsh dunes. There he meets Fatima, and just like that, another kind of dream blooms in his heart. Love. Fatima is kind, graceful, and wise beyond her years. They talk, they walk, they fall in love. For the first time since he left home, Santiago thinks, maybe this is enough. Maybe love is the treasure. Maybe I can stop here. But the dreams return, the whisper of the pyramids, the promise of something unfinished. And he realizes, if he gives up now, the regret will poison even this love. So he tells Fatima the truth. He must leave. Again. And Fatima, in one of the most beautiful scenes in the book, says, I want you to continue towards your goal. If you have to wait until the war is over, then wait. But if you have to go before that, go on in pursuit of your dream. She loves him, but she doesn't hold him back. That's real love. Not a cage, but a wind at your back. So Santiago sets out again, now with love in his heart and the treasure in his sights. But fate is not done testing him. As he nears the pyramids, he's captured by tribal warriors. They rob him, beat him, demand he prove his worth. And then, they give him an impossible task. Turn yourself into the wind, just or die. Absurd, right? But in this strange world, the demand is deadly serious. Santiago is given 3 days. 3 days to transform, not just survive, but become something impossible. It's here that The Alchemist reaches its deepest spiritual core. Santiago meditates. He opens his heart to the desert, the wind, the sun. He listens, not with ears, but with the soul. Everything on earth is being continuously transformed because the earth is alive and it has a soul. This isn't just metaphor. Coelho believed that when you pursue your personal legend, the universe really does respond. On the third day, Santiago steps forward and becomes the wind. Not literally, of course, but in spirit, in energy, in connection. He survives. He earns his freedom. He reaches the Egyptian pyramids at last. And there, at the very place that pulled him across continents, he begins to dig. But instead of treasure, he finds nothing. Worse, he's attacked again. A group of thieves beat him, laugh at him. One of them mockingly tells him, "You came all this way for a dream?" I had a dream once too, that the treasure was buried in a ruined church back in Spain, where I used to sleep. That's when it hits Santiago. That's where the treasure is. At home, where it all began. Now, let's pause. This seems like a trick, like a joke from the universe. A wild goose chase just to find the answer was right where he started, but that's the point. Because the journey was never about gold, it was about growth. The real treasure wasn't buried in the sand, it was built inside him. The courage, the knowledge, the love, the patience, the stories, all that he became, that is the treasure. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it, not by handing it to you, but by shaping you into the person who can find it, deserve it, and live it. Santiago returns home, back to Spain, back to the ruins of the old church where he once dreamed, where he first slept beside his sheep under a sycamore tree. The circle is complete. He digs, and this time he finds it. A chest of real treasure, jewels, gold, coins, riches. Yes, the dream was true, but what makes this moment powerful isn't the treasure itself. It's the fact that he had to leave everything behind, endure heartbreak, failure, confusion, and transformation to be able to receive it. Because if the treasure had been easy, he never would have valued it. And if he hadn't left, he never would have found it. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things, and only the wise can see them. The Alchemist. This is where The Alchemist becomes more than just a book. It becomes a mirror, because it asks you, what is your personal legend? What have you abandoned? What whispers keep returning to your soul, no matter how far you run? The story reminds us, the things we are most afraid of losing often aren't the real treasures. The real treasure is the self you become when you decide to live intentionally, truthfully, courageously. Motivation doesn't come from money. It doesn't come from others cheering you on. It doesn't even come from success. It comes from a fire inside you. The one that refuses to go out even when the world turns cold. You see, Santiago's journey is a metaphor for our own. How many times have you given up because things didn't work right away? How often have you been robbed of energy, clarity, and confidence and thought, maybe I should just go back? How many dreams have you buried under the weight of realism? Santiago almost gave up multiple times after being robbed, after working for a year just to earn back what he lost, after falling in love and wanting to stay in the oasis, after nearly dying in the desert. But each time he remembered one thing. He chose this journey, and he would rather face the unknown than live with the regret of never trying. There's a quote by the Roman philosopher Seneca that echoes this spirit. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. The hardest part of chasing your dream isn't the failures, it's deciding to begin.